So I just got a little tiny feature implemented on my radio and my amplifier together that kind of makes my hands clap together like a little kid. And it's just one of those little small victories. So here we go. I'm on 80 meters right now, and if I hit transmit, it's tuned up already because I already hit tune. I can just rerun the tune, no problem. And it'll hunt for something here. And 1.7. It didn't do too great, and one of the reasons that is because the power level is not very high. So what I can do is increase the power output to, say, 1.4 watts. Tune. There we go. Now let's retune it. It'll probably hit about 1.3 this time around, I think. Or it should. There we go. 1.3. Turn tune off. And we'll re-enable the serial connection here. And I can go band up. And so when I go band up on the amplifier, the radio goes band up. Now, one thing I didn't have working before was when I would then transmit on the new band and see it, I have to turn the amplifier automatically turns the power down on the KX3 for the simple fact that more than 0.7 watts out of the KX3 here, you can't see that. Yeah. Use something like that. There we go. More than 0.7 watts out of the KX3 will cause this amplifier to go into overload. So whenever the KX3 starts transmitting more than 0.7 watts, the amplifier automatically tells it, no, back off. Problem is the SWR bridge here and this KX3's SWR bridge need about a watt in order to function properly. So I might have to turn the power up a little bit here. Turn tune off. Another quick thing I want to show real quick is the actual debugging information that's going back and forth between the KX3 and the amplifier. This is just in the Arduino environment, but as you can see here, when I switch my bands, it automatically restores. Now it's restored as band 0. And when I say band 0, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, those are the bands internally to the amplifier, not the bands as defined by the KX3. Band 0 is 160 meters in the KX3 world, but this is just debugging here. And here you can also see the power output, so it's actually sending PC0070 and making sure that the power is actually currently at 0.7 watts. So we're on band 9, which is 10 meters, which is also known as band 4 for my amplifier. So there's 15 here, which is band 3, but KX3 band 7, so on and so forth. But here you can see it actually pulling the data. It's an integer. There's 16 bits of data for the tuning information. And as you go down, it's just restoring the various bases of information. If I hit tune, let's see. Well, it's going 0.8 watts. It's not doing the debug information. Now let's do a quick tune. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the serial. And I'm going to transmit. I need to transmit at 1 watt or more at least. And I'm going to tune up. And what you're seeing scroll by is the actual algorithm through which it's going. So it's a 3-stage tuning algorithm. And there we go. And it's at 1.4 to 1. And it's now stored that into the EEPROM on the Arduino. If I hit tune again, what you're going to see is 3 stages. The first stage is a 7x6 grid that it scans through, the second that it's doing now, and then the last final stage. And we're at 1.2 to 1. Hey, I like that. So I'm going to turn off my transmit now. So there's 3 stages to the tuning algorithm. It kind of does this kind of reductive matrix, so it does a scan of 6 inductor values by 7 capacitor values. It checks all 42 of those values, and then says whichever one is the lowest value, that's the point around which to center the next stage, where it then skips every 3rd value, and then finally on the last one it skips does single increments. So you can kind of see that here, where it started with. Here's the SWR is in factors of 10. Of course, now it's going to not focus. So S13, so if we look at the last line, says S13, we are 1.3 to 1. F3 is the third stage in the algorithm. The inductor's at 64 and the capacitor's at 114. So here we've gone from, let's see, it looks like it did inductance of 60, 61, 62, 63, and 64 all with a capacitor value of 114. And as you go up, you can kind of see how it's doing a grid search. And if I scroll upwards a little bit, I'm just going to go this way. You can see on stage 2 how it's skipping capacitor and inductor values. And so it's doing a grid. So it's doing this kind of like continually decreasing grid. Anyway, that's the tuning algorithm for this system right now. Transmit. Hey, look at that. It's tuned up already. I don't have to retune it because the amplifier now remembers the band settings for each band for the tuner. So I can go to 15 meters. And it's already tuned up. Yeah, 1.7 to 1. Yeah, whatever. It's not the greatest, but maybe we can get a better match. But it's usually about, 1.7 is about as good as it's going to get, but not too worried about it. I don't use 15 meters much right now anyway, and it's kind of a janky antenna on 15 meters. Heck. I even have 3 to 1. It's not great, but this is a 40 meter vertical being tuned up on 10 meters, so I don't expect a whole lot of action. And so yeah, and so now I can turn this off, and it updates both. So if I can go from here, the amplifier automatically knows where to go, and it can transmit and be tuned up. And this works both directions, so if I change bands on the KX3, it changes bands on the amplifier. Go up again. Transmit. Oh, look, it's already tuned up. Yay! Anyway, my hands are clapping. I'm happy. The amplifier is basically almost done. I just got to clean up the code, and I will probably publish it on my website. And the website is ae7eu.com. Anyway, thanks.